how a student can apply for the program when our application deadline is already gone? Do they get a dual degree, like one in the technology, one in the business, or they get only one degree?
82% of all our students stay working in Europe.
How will I transition from my study visa to my work? What does the ENO-Energy actually stand for? Welcome everyone. This podcast is going to be focused on those students who are willing to study in European Union and looking for a top-notch university in field of engineering. Don't miss the podcast because we are going to share a lot of important information in the end of the podcast about the living expenses and also tuition fees. I would like to welcome Mr. Arias from the ENO-Energy. Thank you so much for joining me, Jay.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Some introduction about you and your organization, please.
Yes, definitely. So, thank you for joining us today. So, I'm Javier and I represent ENO-Energy. ENO-Energy is an investor. We're a European investor in sustainable and renewable energy projects. And together with some of the best European universities, we offer master's program in sustainable energy engineering, innovation, entrepreneurship, and artificial intelligence.
Great. So, ENO-Energy, the students are always confused sometimes when a third party come between the university and a student. So I think it's very important we should understand what does the ENO-Energy actually stand for. So though you have explained us, but if you can tell us more in detail how you are associated, your organization is associated with the top-notch universities.
Yes, definitely. I understand the confusion. So we are a company that was created by the European Union.
Okay.
So by the government from the European Union with public funds.
Okay.
And they created us so that we can accelerate the energy transition.
Okay.
And there's two ways in which we do that. We invest in innovation, so startups, companies, and so on. And we invest in education.
Okay.
So, but because we're not a university, we don't do this ourselves. So we sit together on the table with the best universities in Europe, and together we design programs that responds to the needs of the industry.
Okay.
So what the industry are looking for. Now,
okay.
These programs are offered at all these different universities because we want to make sure the students get a proper certificate, a proper degree from these top universities. But we also organize a lot of extra activities on top of what the universities offer.
So you just mentioned that you invest in specific areas.
Yes.
And you only run specific programs which are very much in need.
Yep.
By the industry. So I'm just picking that line because I can see, before in this podcast, I was going through your website and I saw very specific program. And I was very concerned, why you don't have AI, why don't you have computer science? And so you already mentioned right now that you're only focusing on those areas.
Yes, correct.
So could you just tell something more about the areas first, and then we can come to the masters later on?
Definitely. So we invest both on startups, but also in education on the key topics and key areas for sustainable energy. So, for example, renewable energy or the application of energy in smart cities and buildings, or perhaps in electrical grids, or also in energy storage and even in nuclear energy. So we have all these areas in which we invest. We have a portfolio of more than 200 companies in all these areas.
Okay.
So we train people to work in these areas. So although we don't offer programs specifically in business or in artificial intelligence, we teach students business and artificial intelligence, but then apply to these sectors that we were discussing.
So let me connect all the dots now, and
Yeah.
I think it will be easier for our viewers as well to understand the whole platform. So ENO-Energy is an investor,
Yes.
and you are also a basically education provider, not
Yeah.
directly via universities, and you have top-notch universities on your portfolio. Which are going to be such as, can you just name some numbers?
Yeah,
some
we
names?
have, for example, KTH, Royal Institute of Technology in Sweden. There's also KU Leuven in Belgium, which is super top ranked in different rankings. We have universities like Indo Technical University in the Netherlands.
So the list is pretty long. I can
Yes.
see 6-7 numbers coming up,
Yeah.
and they all are big shots of technology.
They are the
I
best
think this is
universities.
going to be very interesting for all the engineers who are looking for top-notch education in the field of energy. I think a lot of programs I've seen on the website are energy dominating. It is because the crisis we see in the Europe also coming in. Is it also some way this connected as well?
Yeah, a bit, but not really, because we started before that happened. So Europe has been leading the energy transition, right? So we started back in 2010. Yes. So since 2010, in Europe was already thinking about moving to renewables, about how to make the electrical grids more efficient. So we started back then. Now, what happened with the crisis, with the war with Russia and Ukraine and so on, it only came to speed this up.
Okay.
Because
the
there's
booster
even
came
more
in.
need.
Yeah, you need more.
There's even more need for this.
Okay. So basically, when you say all these smart city programs you're going to talk about, I see that all these programs, they're connected to energy saving.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, you're right. That Europe is actually the leader in the energy, change in the energy, the green energy coming in.
Yes.
And I think the world is following the EU, because I think EU norms are the most strictest norm across the world when it comes to energy and pollution and blah blah blah. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You have to think that there's more than 20 countries that are part of the European Union, and
True.
they all need to come together and create policies and
True.
Design systems that work for everybody. But also they're usually more strict than other countries in terms of regulations. So all these companies and all these startups, they have to grow in that context.
Very true.
That means that they had to start much earlier, and now countries like the US, also India, is starting to invest a lot in green energy.
Very much. I must say with the audience, if you see the stock prices of those companies, which are actually doing some work in green energy, they are rocket high at the moment. And if you see the pattern, because India is actually now really concerned about the energy change.
Yes.
And EU is always the leadership, we talk about. So let's come to the programs. You just mentioned the universities, all these top universities.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a very practical question. KTH Sweden is actually closed for the September 2024 intake, and we are sitting right now in February and making this podcast. So how a student can apply for the program when application deadline is already gone?
Yeah.
This is the question I'm sure a lot of audience are going to think when they see this podcast.
Yeah, you're completely right. With us, the students can apply to go to KTH in their first year all the way until April. If you apply directly to KTH, that's not possible. The deadline is already passed. That was mid-January.
Okay.
So, but with us, the programs are actually 2-year programs in 2 different institutions. So you could choose to go to KTH in your first year or on your second year.
Okay.
And that's a choice that you can make all the way until April. If you choose to go somewhere else, you can apply all the way even until June, because we have applications open for other countries until June.
So let's now talk about your group of partner universities, because I'm sure a lot of students who are already listening to our podcast, they will be very eagerly waiting which all universities do you have on your portfolio.
Yeah.
So you have got 3 universities you've given us. Can you name us more countries and more universities?
Yeah, let me start south to north.
Okay.
We start with Portugal.
Okay.
We have Instituto Superior Técnico, which is one of the top universities. Spain, we have Universidad Politécnica de Catalunya in Barcelona. Then we've got France, in which we have several partners, but amongst them we have École Polytechnique, which is the #1 engineering school in France. It's actually very much sought after by the French students themselves, and is linked to the National Defense Ministry, and plus other universities in France like Renewable and so on. We go up to Belgium. We also have KU Leuven, which, as I said at the beginning, is super high ranked in many different rankings. We also have Eindhoven in the Netherlands. If we go further east, we also have AGH in Poland. We have in the south again, Politecnico di Torino in Italy. And if we go all the way north, we have KTH in Sweden, in Stockholm, and we have Aalto University in Finland. So there's plenty of options, and these are the universities from which you can obtain a degree. But as I said, our programs also teach business. So when you enroll in one of our programs, you will follow business courses, MBA-type business courses at either ESADE Business School in Spain or Unternehmertum in Germany, that is part of TU Munich.
Okay, great. So you basically do your main program in technology.
Yes.
But you also have some business subjects.
Yes.
But when they finish this master degree program with you in technology or renewable energy or any program, do they get a dual degree, like one in the technology, one in the business, or they get only one degree?
They get a dual degree, both in technology.
Okay.
But they also get a certificate in business.
Okay.
They also get a certificate in artificial intelligence if they like to. This is an optional track.
Okay.
And they also get a certificate from the European Union.
Okay. So when you say dual degree, we are talking about now every program we're going to talk about in the next few minutes. They all are dual degrees, which means that you have to spend your entire program of 2 years in 2 different universities and in 2 different countries also.
Correct. And you
And-
will obtain the 2 degrees, one the Master of Science in Engineering from University A and the other one same from University B.
Great. So this is the most important, feature of your platform, right? So the students who are applying for these programs, they cannot apply to this university directly. They have to apply through InnoEnergy India because the programs actually are started by you only.
In cooperation with the
University.
But the universities give us the mandate to recruit the students. So
Right.
we're responsible for that. As you said, if you want to apply to these dual degree programs, you can only do it with InnoEnergy.
Okay. Let's go on to the now list of programs. What are the programs you're talking about? And first of all, how many programs do you have?
We offer 5 programs
Okay.
nowadays.
Okay. And
Yes.
can you just name them one by one?
Yeah. So we have the Masters in Renewable Energy, the Masters in Sustainable Energy Systems. We have a Masters in Smart Electrical Networks. We have a Master in Energy for Smart Cities. And we have a Masters in Nuclear Energy.
Let's go about the programs offered by your institution and the entry requirements in
Yeah.
terms of the backgrounds.
Yes.
So first program is going to be renewable energy.
Yes.
Which kind of bachelor degree students can apply?
So for renewable energy, we're looking mostly at mechanical and electrical engineering.
Okay.
Power engineering could be, but especially students who have in their bachelor thermodynamics and electric circuits.
So even if out of these 3, somebody else want to apply, and if they have these 2 components, they can apply.
Yes.
Right. Next program going to be?
Sustainable energy systems.
Okay. In sustainable, we're looking at what?
So that's a bit broader. So you could have your traditional mechanical, electrical engineer, perhaps also an environmental engineer, could also be power engineer, chemical engineer, could also be students with a chemistry background.
Okay. So we can actually say any engineering minus the AI and software
Basically.
type of, right?
Yeah.
So any traditional engineering background
Yeah.
is acceptable.
Yes.
Also the BSc and MSc chemistry, you said.
Yes.
Okay. And the third going to be
Smart electrical networks.
smart electrical networks. And we're looking at what kind of background?
That's primarily electrical engineers, could also be electronics, or sometimes here in India you have computer science and electronics combined. That's
Yeah.
also applicable.
Telecommunication?
If they have enough background in electrical topics,
Yes. Electronics and telecommunication together.
Yes.
Okay. And the fourth program going to be?
That's going to be energy for smart cities.
Energy for Smart Cities is quite a upcoming program in very top universities. What are we looking here exactly?
So this is very interesting because it's very heavy on the electrical side. So electrical engineers are eligible, but
Yeah.
we also look at mechanical, even civil engineers,
Okay.
as long as they have a bit of electrical engineering background. So it's the application of energy and energy systems within buildings and cities. So,
Okay. And power as well.
And power.
Okay. So these 4 will be work out.
Mhm.
And the fifth and the last program going to be?
That's nuclear energy.
I'm sure for nuclear, we're looking at nuclear bachelor degree
Yes.
and we're looking for physics.
Yes.
Okay. And
That's the basis.
Basics. And student with the BSc and MSc physics can also apply.
Yes, correct.
So all the programs are for engineering students hardcore.
Yes.
But if you have a bachelor of 3 years, like a BSc and a master of 2 years, you can still apply.
Yes.
So for either 4-year BTech engineering degree
Yeah.
or 3+2 masters
In physics or chemistry.
in physics chemistry.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So that was the information about the backgrounds.
Yes.
If we talk about students applying, the next student asked us, in the counseling session is about my GPA is X. Am I eligible?
Mhm.
So I know, you can't say, word by word, but if you can give me a minimum benchmark that a student who is planning to apply to your any of your programs should have a minimum benchmark of what percentage?
Yeah, so we're looking at around 70%. It's
Okay.
a little bit lower than 70%. It depends on which university they come from,
Okay.
because we combine the GPA with the ranking of their university. So if it's a very good university,
Yes.
it might have been very difficult, right, to
Absolutely.
get a good GPA. So we take that into consideration, but roughly I would say around 70%.
Okay. So if I just said that that you can go below 70% depending upon the university, can I say 65 is the cutoff? Do not take anything below 65. So if somebody has 65, they can apply, but depending upon the university ranking, the outcome will be like that.
Mhm.
70% is what you're looking at.
Yes.
But below 65 is no way, no
No,
point. Yeah.
no.
So students, if you have below 65, do not even apply for the application because it doesn't going to get you admission. So I think this is the whole point of making this podcast, because this was the information which was missing all the time,
Mhm.
for the students, that whether I'm eligible or not.
Mhm.
Because there are a lot of students who have this percentage, but some who don't have it, they keep applying, and they also file up your application systems, and you have to work on the application as well, of course. And student has an expectation and might be expected. We have discussed about the admission requirement. Let's talk about the English requirements. So what is the English requirement for students coming for these programs?
Yes. So majority of the students in India do need to take an English test.
Okay.
So an IELTS 6.5, no section below 5.5 or 6.0 in case they wish to attend studies in the Netherlands.
Okay.
The university in the Netherlands is stricter.
Yeah.
Or a TOEFL 92.
Okay.
With no section below 22.
Do you also accept PTE?
No, unfortunately.
No. Only IELTS and TOEFL.
And Cambridge certificate.
And Cambridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
These 3 exams they can do.
Yes.
Great.
Now, students from India who have followed an English taught bachelor program, there's a special track in which they can join us without an English test.
Okay.
For one program. That program is Sustainable Energy Systems.
Okay.
Where if they choose a certain combination of universities and they can prove that their bachelor was in English, they can join us without an English test.
Okay.
Only for specific universities.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that doesn't apply to KTH, which I know is very popular. For KTH, you do need an English test.
Okay, great. So when we talk about now we know programs, and now we know the admission requirements and English requirements. Let's now talk about the tuition fee. What is the average tuition fee of these programs?
Yeah, so all the programs, regardless of the university, they have the same fee.
Okay.
So that's 18,000 euros per year.
Okay.
And that includes all the activities of the university. So you're enrolled as a regular student with all the rights, plus all the extra activities that we offer, like the business training, the artificial intelligence certification. We organize a lot of events with our companies that we have invested on throughout the year. Students attend competitions. That's all included in the cost of the fee. Yeah.
So the 18,000 euros is going to be Indian currency, would be somewhere between like 16-17 lakh rupees per year.
Correct.
So 16-17 lakh rupees tuition fee per year is what student has to pay.
Yes.
Great. So now we know tuition fee, we know admission requirement, we know English requirements. Students, I've been to your campus. I've met a lot of students there, and they're quite happy. I've spoken to many students actually, and I must say that the feedback was awesome. That's the word I would use, because what I heard that the students actually are satisfied with the quality of education they're getting, because these universities are very top-notch universities, and they offer the very high-quality education. When it comes to high-quality education and tuition fee, Indian students are okay with that, because in US, in Australia, we are paying more money, to be honest. So the cost of the education is still cheaper in compared to US. Next thing comes is, if I'm investing this money into my higher education, I want to know as a student, what is my future opportunities in terms of job.
Yeah.
So my direct question to you is, it will be very straightforward. If you have 100 students coming, let's say, what is the percentage from India coming to your institution each year?
Yeah, varies per year. I would say it's between around 25%.
25% come from India?
Yes.
Great. So these 25% people, who have come 2 years back, let's say I'm talking 2 years back batch, which is going to be graduating now, what is the percentage of people who got a job opportunity in European Union or outside European Union after completing the program?
So there's two statistics there that I want to share with you. One is that almost 100% of our students find a job within 6 months.
Okay.
So that's basic. But most importantly, 82% of our students stay working in Europe. They find a job in Europe. And when you compare that to the national statistics in the different countries, it's far ahead. So about only 25 to 30% of all the international students that come to the Netherlands stay working in the Netherlands. So compare that, imagine only 1 out of 4, and with us is more than 80%.
Okay.
So the chances of finding a job in Europe are significantly higher when you come to study with us.
One thing is very clear, you're going to a top university, you're going to a great program, I understand. But let's say if I go to a university, I pay a bit less.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to talk about now a straightforward question, because once you go online, you see the tuition fee of the KTH, it's going to be probably 2,000 euros less than yours, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah.
In this 2,000 euros, of course, what is my benefit? Because as a student going to KTH or any university, I have access to those universities, career offices.
Yeah.
And these universities also have awesome career offices, which are great bandwidth of the companies, and a lot of companies come for the career fairs. I'm paying 2,000 euro extra. Of course, the deadline is gone. That's one reason. I can still come into the program, and the program is actually your program.
Yeah.
But what else you're going to bring on table in terms of job hunting, in the career office?
Yeah, there's quite a lot actually to unravel there. So I believe the 2000 extra is just a very small addition for everything that you get. I'm going to give you some examples. So if you come to one of our programs, let's say Renewable Energy, you're going to study business also with ESADE Business School. Okay. You're going to spend more than 150 hours with ESADE Business School.
And ESADE has a world ranking also.
ESADE is one of the top 10 European business schools.
Okay.
So it's really, really good. You're going to spend 150 hours, more than 150 hours with ESADE. If you were to do only 150 hours of MBA studies with ESADE, that alone would cost you 18,000 euros.
Okay. So it's
only
it's like an 18,000 euro management program free of cost.
Correct.
Okay.
Then, if you look at the certification in artificial intelligence that we offer, it's 3 courses that are one after the other. The first course, Data Science and Artificial Intelligence for Energy Engineer, is worth 4,000 euros.
Okay.
Only that course. So when you add the 3, you're talking about significantly more value, right?
20 plus thousand coming in.
Exactly. So also, when you enroll in one of our programs, you're going to have all the rights of a student of KTH. So you're also going to get all the support from career services of KTH and so on. But on top of that, you also get career services from InnoEnergy. So you have the MBA certificate, you have the AI certificate, you also have career services from InnoEnergy, who organizes activities with these 200 companies that we have invested on, but also with our shareholders. And shareholders are companies like Schneider Electric, Total Energies, and so on. So big players in the energy sector. That means that you're going to get many more job opportunities, internships, thesis placements, and so on, because our team is focused on doing that for you.
So Javier, what I'm understanding here is that your platform, you have invested into energy sector, and you're also teaching energy masters.
Yes.
Right. So technically, if I'm correct, you are creating demand and supply both.
That's the idea.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is what I'm able to now understand, because if you I was also actually going through the companies you're talking about off the camera, and they are actually the big giants in the energy.
Yes.
So they need employees.
Yes.
And who's going to supply them the employees? I mean, energy.
Exactly.
And you have students from your universities coming in. So it's a great idea actually,
Yeah.
And I think students, you should actually go and do more research on this particular, topic. And I think a lot of opportunities are coming in different countries in renewable energy. And this is where students need to understand the, green energy, renewable energy, sustainable cities. This is something which is new trend now. And it's not new actually, but it's like very growing, actively demanding sector.
Yeah.
And you don't have people in this.
That's the thing. So every company that's being created, they need hundreds, if not thousands of employees. And there's not that many people trained. So we need people.
So will it be correct if I say this, that your InnoEnergy project has been approved by European Union Fund because it is going to be the route to bring employees for energy companies?
Yes, that's correct.
This is a simple mathematics, right?
That, and also we are, as you said, we're creating the demand. So we invest in companies, but in some cases we even start companies. So in sectors where we see opportunities, we start companies. These companies need people, and we have the people. So
when you say start companies, now you're talking about startup culture.
Yes.
Right? This is a top up. You're giving a cherry on a cake.
Yes.
What does that mean? I mean, because, when you say startup culture in India, the audience want to listen to it.
Yeah.
So what is this bit? Can you explain that?
Yes, of course.
How does, let's say I'm a student.
Yeah.
I come and study with you. I'm finishing my second year, and I've done my first year with KTH Sweden, and I'm now going to finishing my second year in KU Leuven.
Yeah.
And it's just about to finish.
Yeah.
Then you said the startup culture thing comes up.
Yeah.
When, how are you going to engage me in this?
Okay, so you're going to finish your degree, and there's 3 things you can do. Okay, you can go and work for a big corporate, one of the ones that we mentioned before. You're going to lead innovation there because that's what they're looking for. You can join one of our portfolio companies, which are startups for the most, or a bit further, they're growing as well. So you're going to apply all those entrepreneurship innovation skills into the startup scene. But you can even start your own company. So, and that's something that we foster during the programs. We have a competition that's also included in the programs that is called the Battle of Green Talent. That is, it runs throughout several months. The students create their own company, and in a platform, they pitch this company to potential investors, like, fake investors in a way. which are students from business schools, so MBA students and so on. And they get feedback and they keep developing their business idea. And at the end, they come and they pitch their business idea in a final, and the winning company gets a prize of 10,000 euros plus the support of InnoEnergy to start their own company. So if you want to start a company, this is the place to be. If you want to join a startup company, this is the place to be. If you want to work for a big shot player in the energy sector, this is also the place to be.
I think I would say 90% of your students are basically going into big companies as employees. And is this the right, or 10-15%? What is the percentage?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know the answer to that question.
Because I've spoken to your students, when I was there in Netherlands, one of the guys said, that 10 to 15% of the students themselves start their own companies, and the rest go into companies.
But going to companies could be a big, large corporate, or could be a startup.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, admission requirement is done, English is done, future point of view we discussed on that. When we're talking about the how it will be benefit for the student to come and study with you. And let's talk about something post education. So I've done my education now with you. I got an opportunity to work for your institution, so your company. I will come to your career office, and you will be connecting me to the various HR of the multiple companies.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
In practical.
Correct.
And am I also allowed to do my own CV movement? I can do and find other companies on my own as well?
Yes, of course. But I mean, we facilitate this for you.
Okay.
So we have job fairs, we bring the companies to do challenges or case studies with the students. So that's probably the easiest channel. But if you want to do it on your own, you can also do it.
Right.
But I would encourage students to get the support from InnoEnergy, because that's part of what they're paying for.
Okay.
That's the service.
In European Union, from 4 years to 8 years, you get a permanent residency, depending upon which country you're living in.
Yeah,
right?
Correct.
I think a lot of people have a question. Okay, I got a good job. I finished my education from KTS to Leuven. I'm in Belgium. I got a job in Siemens in Sweden, back again, or maybe in in Netherlands in some company.
Yeah.
And I started living in that country. Am I going to get my residency in that country? Because you're first going to get work permit.
Yes.
So you finish a program, you get a job offer, and then you get a work permit.
Yes.
So practically, I'm going to finishing my second year here you live in. I'm about to finish it, like say 3 months left.
Yeah.
And I get a job offer from Siemens in Netherlands.
Yeah.
What next for me? I mean, how will I transition from my study visa to my work visa?
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, when you come to study with us, you're going to get a visa for the first year university, and then you're going to get a visa for the second year university. So you choose to go to Sweden on your first year, you get the visa for Sweden. Then you go to Belgium on your second year, you get the visa from Belgium. You're finished. You can choose to either stay in Belgium looking for a job with a 1-year post-study visa,
or
you can go back to Sweden and look for a job with a post-study visa as well.
The here is the catch. So technically, I've got 2 degrees, right? One from Belgium, one from Sweden. I've got 2 job seeker visa also,
yes,
right? I can choose which one I want,
yes,
and I can take either of them. Let's say Belgium is also 1 year and Sweden is also 1 year.
Yes.
So I take one of them.
Yeah.
And because I have a Schengen job seeker visa, which allow me to travel to any Schengen country to find a job, so it makes no sense to me, of course, taking 2 of them, right? I'm going to take either one of them.
Yeah, but it's more common to find a job in the country where you're living.
Yeah. So,
it's not impossible. I mean, you can, of course, be in Belgium and get a job in the Netherlands or get a job in Germany. The company would need to then sponsor you to bring you to that country.
Oh, I got it. So technically, I should be taking 2 visas, right? I can.
Yes.
Let's say, this is the whole concept of, coming to InnoEnergy. I have a 12-degree master degree.
Yes.
I've got 2 country degree. I can take 2 job seeker visas, and these 2 job seeker visas, I can go to either these 2 countries or either to entire European Union.
Correct.
But I can also end up taking only 1. Yes. So if I'm finishing my program in Belgium, I will just take Belgium visa. I'll start applying in Swedish companies, German companies, and go there. This is a normal student going to Europe will do.
Correct.
But with you, they can actually have 2 post-study visas.
Yes.
And that's a unique part of dual degrees.
That is very unique.
Because in dual degrees, you actually get 2 degrees from 2 countries, and both the countries give you the job seeker visa, because that's how law works. I believe this is how it's actually practically done also.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk,
I give you a very nice example.
Okay.
Let's say you do your first year in the Netherlands,
Yeah.
and you do your second year in Sweden.
Yeah.
In both countries, you can get a 1-year post-study work visa, right?
Yeah.
So you choose to stay in Sweden to look for a job. You
Yeah.
stay in Sweden for 1 year.
Yes.
After that 1 year is over, you can go to the Netherlands and
Wow.
request another 1-year visa and stay 1 year in the
In
Netherlands,
case you do not like the job you got in Sweden,
for example.
you have one more year. Wow, this is news. So it's like 1 + 1, 2 years.
Yes.
So EnerGy program bring 2 years of job seeker visa. I can say that, right?
Yeah.
It's
With the right combination. That's
the right
correct.
combination. Great.
Yeah.
It's good learning. We are discussing now about the program. We've discussed about the visas. Let's say in the end we're gonna put a list of the countries and the job seeker visa they offer, so that the audience can actually they can see and they can compare as well. But I think this piece of information was great, and thank you so much for joining for this session. But I'm really glad that you have done the session, because this was something which we needed to give it to students so that they make a very informative decision.
Yeah.
Because students normally when they apply abroad, they only get 1 degree, they get only 1 country exposure. But with EnerGy, they have so much extra coming in, and this, especially with this 140 hours of SR MBA you're talking about,
yeah.
It's a great thing. Anything else you want to add on, please?
Yeah, so I think what you're saying is spot on. So I think if you're interested in 2 degrees to start with, but also pan-European experience to learn about energy, engineering, business, AI, all together at the same time, have the best network possible all across Europe, not just in one country, then this is the place to be. And also bear in mind that in all of these countries where we have programs, you can even work during your studies. And because we have this network and all these startups, many students do internships or part-time jobs, relevant part-time jobs during the study. So it could be that you come to Sweden, you work part-time, you study, you could then go to, say, France, you work part-time, you study, you do an internship. At the end, you can have the post-study work visa from France, the post-study work visa from Sweden, but you also have a network in Spain, you also have a network in Portugal, you also have a network in the Netherlands, because of all these extra activities that we have organized for you.
Sure. Thank you, Jay. Thank you so much for this session, and looking forward to see you again.
Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.